Hello and welcome to episode 8. Man, I'm really starting to run out of fingers.
Wait, let me put up my beer. Now I can do it.
Yeah. 8 of the Lost One podcast. As always, my name is Shenzo the Lost. I am your host. Joining me today, we have Shoshima 1016. And as always, the disembodied voice for those who are watching on video is SamuraiNoodlez.
Hey, I got me a nice cup of coffee and I'm ready to fucking talk.
All right, there we go. That's good. At least one of us is.
To fucking talk or fucking talk?
Both.
Yes.
So, we're throwing a little bit of a curveball at you guys. We've been doing so far, every even episode has been Lost in the MCU. But I was talking to both Samurai and Shoshima before we hit the record button. And both of them were pretty much in agreement that we wanted to cover a different topic today. Which I say, sure, why not?
Patterns are meant to be broken.
Yeah, well, let's establish immediately, like early on in the first 10 episodes, that we have no clue what we're doing and there's almost no long-term planning.
Oh, I figured they already knew that by now.
Oh yeah, I figured, but let's just come out and say it instead of dancing around the subtext. Let's stop teasing him. And
I like being a tease.
Yeah, I know you do, but anyway. So today we're actually going to talk about one of Shoshima's personal favorite topics. We're going to talk all things Capcom, and that's
nerd.
Yeah, he is a nerd.
It takes one to know one.
That too. But we're going to talk all things Capcom. And as we've kind of established in previous episodes, Shoshima is a huge Capcom fan. For those who are watching on YouTube, he's almost always wearing some sort of Capcom shirt. I want to say conservatively, half of the episodes at least, he's had some kind of Capcom shirt on.
Probably.
If you're such a big Capcom fan, why don't you name all the games?
Hey, Samurai, you cut out there. Can you please repeat your petty insult and gatekeeping?
You know what? No, I'm good.
Okay. Just, figured. But yeah, you cut out there. But yeah, so...
It doesn't work if I have to repeat the insult.
That is very true.
Yeah, you can explain the joke. It's not a joke anymore.
I don't know. That doesn't stop Platty from doing it.
Well, people can still do it. Doesn't make it a good joke.
I don't know. I don't know. Platty seems to get a lot of views and has a lot of success, so he must be doing something right. I'm just saying. Might be his mango time though, or maybe it's his little stuffed platypus he's had like on camera pretty much his entire streaming career. I don't know.
Yeah, you start marketing platypuses.
Yeah,
it'll get people going.
Is it platypuses or platypi?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Okay. So Samurai, you're the smart one. Do you know?
No.
Okay. Well,
platypi.
Platypi, platypuses.
Let's just go with platypi.
Platypi. Okay.
Boxing.
Platypusin?
Platypusin. Yes.
All right, there we go. As you can tell, guys, we're off to an amazing start. So for those on video, I just want to open up with a small story. You may notice that we have a very bright colored blanket now. I want to give a very special shout out to Mama Sue, a member of the Hangtime community and also a proud member of the Lost Ones, who sent me this blanket. Which officially means, unfortunately, that I had peaked as a content creator, and I'm really sorry, but it's all downhill from here.
Just straight down.
Yeah, it's not even like an incline; it's just a drop. So
90-degree angle.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, yeah. So if you see us with a very nice, warm, fuzzy blanket behind us, yeah, that's courtesy of Mama Sue. And just want to give Mama Sue a big shout out. She's the heart and soul of the Hangtime community, and she's a wonderful member of the Lost Ones. Tanner, do not dare start tearing up my carpet, okay?
Yeah, Mama Sue's just a wonderful human being in general.
She really is. So if you don't know Mama Sue, you'll see her around in my chat every now and then, and in Hangtime's chat. Please say hi, and tell her thank you for being awesome. But anyway, back onto topic. As soon as I can get my very handsome, very fuzzy dog to sit down. Good boy, bud. Let's talk Capcom. So Capcom, for those that don't know or who are living under a rock, is a game developer, a very successful one. And among their biggest franchises, Monster Hunter is probably my favorite out of them. Resident Evil, of course they had...
Street Fighter.
Yep. Yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom is another one. Duh. But they've got a whole lot of different titles, different franchises under their belt. They're also, in my opinion, and again, this is just kind of from a fan, not someone who's like an expert on Capcom. They seem to be one of the few like game developers who even when they mess up, they still do something right. There's a lot of jokes about, like Bethesda, for example, where you never buy a game early that they release because it's going to be full of bugs and they need time to patch it.
They're not bugs; those are features.
Well, yeah, that's my line as the programmer, but yeah, but it's. I'm talking more as a fan here. I'm trying to keep my professional and personal life separate, man.
Oh,
Come on,
my bad.
But and then of course you have like the whole cyberpunk disaster, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? Nintendo and their weird like, oh, we're gonna put a limited release on a beloved title, and we're gonna cap
a beloved collection.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Nintendo business practices are weird.
And then we're
Speaking
gonna
of
charge
which,
a
if they ever
ridiculous
do that,
money.
side story, if they ever do that again, after they discontinue it, check Costco.
Right.
Holy crap, the discount is deep.
Yeah, Costco is pretty good for that. Yeah, little inside trader. If you don't know that, Costco actually has really good deals on a lot of video games pretty often. So if you got that Costco membership, good for you. Just do not dare question the price of the hot dog and drink. Otherwise, the CEO may come and murder you.
I know, right?
So, yeah, but anyway, so Capcom, pretty successful developer. It's Shoshima's favorite. So I'm actually going to kind of turn it over to Shoshima and kind of let him drive the conversation. I know I'm normally like trying to balance a million different things, but I'm not that big of a Capcom fan. So this is not the podcast I feel I should take the lead. So Shoshima, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, wow. I have all the power. Unlimited power.
Yeah, don't get us kicked off of like any of my platforms, please.
Oh, so I shouldn't talk about how I like DMC Devil May Cry?
No, you can talk about that if you want. That just means you'll have a bunch of angry Devil May Cry fanboys after you.
I know, right?
That's a you problem.
It's great jumping into like other people's Twitch chat and saying you actually like that game.
Oh boy, I can only imagine.
But yeah, no, Capcom would be my favorite developer. Yeah, they have a whole bunch of games. I know the new Street Fighter is coming out, which looks super dope. I don't think either of you've really looked too much into it, though, huh?
Not really.
Lies, I have.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, no, like I really like how they're. I don't know if they're going back to Street Fighter 3 per se, or just like the real hip hop influence they're doing. Looks pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of threw me off, especially with 4 and 5 being the way that they were. The way they started off that trailer with like, I honestly, brand new character to me.
Yeah.
Character, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because Luke is technically a returning character. He was DLC in 5.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't actually see. I don't have any of the DLC 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's like I think was the last character in 5, but he has a huge like redesign. If you look up his 5 version versus the Street Fighter 6 version, aside from it being a whole different engine, he does not look like Ninja in DNC in Street Fighter 5. Sorry,
and not to mention that the whole Street Fighter like video game thing is all convoluted anyway. If you look at the timeline.
Oh, this one is the first one to actually go forward in the timeline.
Oh, interesting.
This actually takes place after Street Fighter 3.
Oh, okay. Because is 3 the latest one?
Yes, 3 was the latest in the timeline before this one.
Okay.
Yeah, technically, if anyone actually cares, which I'm sure no one does, it goes Street Fighter, I think 1, then Alpha, then 2, then 4, then 5, then 3, and now 6.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, what little I've seen about it, so like I think we talked about this the last time we brought up Street Fighter 6 coming out.
I think in the last episode.
Might have been.
I've talked about it almost every episode now.
Yeah, but the thing I mentioned is like I recognize like the introductions are looking pretty cool. I know I brought this up before.
Yeah.
That's like kind of the thing that like just strikes me as someone who like, does who is fascinated with game design and who's experimented in that field. I just think that's like a really cool underrated feature, and it's just a little like nice little throwback.
Just to confirm, you're talking about like when the two character models are there and you can change their faces.
Yeah. So well, that is something they brought back, but in this case, it's the actual like entrances, like for the tags,
like the WWE style entrances.
Yeah. So what it is for those that don't know is basically like you have player 1 and player 2, right? Or in this case, like player 1 and their partner coming in, and
no, it's just still a 1v1 game.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying is like when you bring them in at the same time, you like Ryu will come in and he'll like have he'll have like an animation, like say he's like stretching or something, like he's moving his arms back and forth, like trying to warm up, and then you'll like Chun-Li next to him, and Chun-Li will come in and she'll be doing like I don't know, she'll be like waving at the camera or something like that.
Yeah.
But then if you switch their positions, so Chun-Li's first and then Ryu comes in, Chun-Li won't just be waving at the camera like she was in the first animation. She'll be doing something different.
Oh, okay.
And then Ryu will like be like maybe like cracking his knuckles menacingly or something like in the background. It's really cool. It's like unique variations, and it's not like just you're doing the same thing every time they come in type thing. At least that's what it looked like. But the other thing I was going to say is that, this is actually the first game where, like, I noticed, because, again, I'm not, like, a big Street Fighter guy, but I know Ryu, I know, Chun-Li, I know a lot of, like, the
core roster.
And for me, it's one of those things where, like, Ryu looked noticeably older in this one. Like, he's almost got that, like, 5 o'clock shadow. Like,
oh, yeah, he's like a beard.
Yeah, he's going for, like,
he's
the beard.
burly.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a thick boy.
And even Chun-Li, like, she still looks great, but she looks older. So I was curious when you started talking about the timeline, because I think we've established here, like, I'm a fan of, like, convoluted games. It just is. So, like, when you were talking about how, like, the timeline doesn't make sense, I'm like, I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. It's probably not that bad.
Well, comparatively speaking, no. It's just, of course, each game's different if you get into the lore.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, what is it? Like, Tekken, for example, has a pretty straightforward timeline, mostly.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, every game just continues the story.
Yeah, except for the Tekken tag games, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Quite literally, it is.
Yeah, non-canon!
Yeah, pretty much. Non-canon / I think Dream Match is a common term for fighting game community fans.
Yeah. So, like, Smash Ultimate. See, that's going to get a lot of hate from the fighting community right there. So I'm going to take some of the DMC fans off of you, because they're probably also fighting fans, and they're going to come after me.
But yeah, no, this one actually continues the story. I really like how they're using, like, a really hyper-stylized version of the RE engine. The characters still have a specific style. They're not as realistic as, like, DMC5, per se.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're just trying to combine, like, all the mechanics, like, for some from 2. There's, like, kind of like an alpha counter type attack. It looks like there's a focus attack from 4. And, like, some people's, like, there's the parry from 3. And then there's, like, some of, like, their V skills are turned into, like, regular moves. Like, Guile actually has 3 special moves in this game. Much wow. Like, normally he just has the 2 special moves and that's it.
Yeah.
But they turned one of his V skills into a special move, so that's just... They're trying to change it up. Everyone's older. I mean, I like all the character designs so far. Personally. I don't know how many you've actually seen.
I've only seen kind of like the basic ones, but the ones I've seen look solid. Like, I'm not going to pretend they're like the greatest I've ever seen. But to be fair, like, I'm also primarily a Nintendo guy, so I don't expect like great graphics from my perspective, so I'm probably not the best person to comment.
Yeah, well, I'm not even saying just graphics, like like even how Ryu just looks drastically different in this game.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. I really do. Based on just what little I've seen, and based on my previous history and knowledge of the games, I think the designs look fine, and I think my thing is I just hope they have more success with Street Fighter 6. That's kind of my big thing. Is it's like, I'm not a big fighting game person. I'm not super competitive, so fighting games aren't really my thing. But I do never want to wish like ill on any game developer. So
except you, EA.
Do we care about talking about leaks? Because it hasn't been announced yet.
I mean, if you guys want to speculate, but we will preface that everything we're talking about has either been leaked. So if you're not interested, you might want to skip this part of the podcast. But if you guys want to talk about it, that's fine. I don't care.
I know anyone who actually.
No. Don't skip it. Just go off, make yourself a sandwich, let it play in the background.
Exactly. Go get some coffee. That way you're ready to watch the rest. But apparently Ken in this game is like divorced and like super depressed. I don't know if have you seen anything about that, Samurai?
No, I haven't. That's a new one to me.
I guess I watched Maximilian Dude, and everyone's like sending him messages like, oh man, because it's like his favorite character too.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm so sorry, Max, and it's like, it's just a video game character, dude. Like, calm down, my boy. So,
no. What the thing I'm probably the most surprised about is they're actually trying to give Ken character development.
yeah, so he's like Hobo Ken, like question mark. Like I've seen some leaks of his character design, and honestly, the actual character design looks fucking dope.
That's awesome.
Like I hope that comes true.
Yeah.
The whole like story things is like super depressing if that's the case, but again, as long as he plays super cool, who really gives a shit? Like,
I was gonna say, don't
let it ruin your day that a video game character got divorced, guys.
His moves are going to be half-assed and he's going to end up looking like Dan.
That would be great.
All I can say is that I don't think most people play fighting games for the compelling story.
Yeah, exactly. No one does.
True.
I thought it was funny. Everyone's like, we're so sorry. Like someone died or something.
Dude, I mean, we've seen it. This is in all aspects, right? But like, Samurai, you and I can personally testify to how toxic fandoms can get.
Absolutely.
The thing you go ahead.
Wait, I just wanted to input those. I think Tekken 7 was the first time that I was ever like, holy crap, I'm more into the story because they said this is the end. So let's see how this happens. Let's go on and do this single player game.
Yeah, I mean they gave it an ending, but there was an actual story mode in Tekken 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like in previous Tekken games, and I think this got like, I think Tekken 5 was the first Tekken game that I remember there being like a quote unquote like story mode for. It wasn't an actual story mode, but it was like a side thing.
Oh, are you talking about the Devil Within?
Yeah, the Devil Within.
Like the
which was a story-driven mode
type thing.
Yeah, it was a story-driven mode. That was the first one I remember, and like I played a lot of Tekken games. But for me, it's like a lot of like the Tekken story was like implied. Because they did like the arcade style of.
Well, yeah, like everyone had their own ending, so
yeah.
Then, like, the next game, you figure out whose, like, ending was, like, the real story.
Yeah, the one thing, if I remember endings correctly, I think it was Tekken 5 where they kind of turned Heihachi into more of a joke character than an actual serious character, because, like, his ending is, like, he turns into Kuma.
Probably. I mean, Tekken 5 also had, Jinpachi, so apparently Heihachi's dad, like, gets magical voodoo powers.
Yeah, he got possessed by like a demon or something.
Like I don't know if it was a demon, the devil gene. It's usually always the devil.
So it wasn't the devil gene.
Oh, okay.
And that's because the devil gene was on Jin's mother's side, and Heihachi is like his whole goal was to try and acquire the devil gene.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jinpachi
the devil gene is through Jin's father.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
Of it, yeah, it's from Kazuya, but it comes from.
It was from Kazuya. I'm sorry. Yeah, his mother had something else, which may or may not be canon because I believe it was revealed in Tekken Tag 2. So, but
Tekken 7, they finally revealed where all of that all happened.
Hang on one second, Samurai, you are like roboting out right now.
But he was trying to say in Tekken 7 is when. It was actually Heihachi's wife had like the devil gene and bullshit and what.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Have they ever answered, by the way, what happened to June? Like canonically?
I think Kazuya killed her, but they don't like officially say it.
So the thing is like in Tekken Tag 2, they reference like all canon story in there.
That, like she's supposed to be unknown.
Yeah.
She shows up again, in Tekken Tag 2.
Yeah, so, but the thing is in that is, like, she's not canon. It's not actually her. Like, it's her, like, spirit or something like that. But, like, in the story is that she disappeared protecting Jin, I think, from, like, like actual incarnation of like devil or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where for me it's like it's one of like the greatest unsolved mysteries of
Should be on the X-Files.
yeah of video games, is because like she's one of like the driving motivations for like Jin, right?
Mhm.
And even Kazuya and Heihachi in a way, and
Kinda.
like she's just never explicitly like addressed like in any canon game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like because yeah, like Unknown is like the dark reflection of her spirit or something like that. I don't remember what it is, but it was like the whole thing about Unknown and Tekken Tag 2 was basically was unknown. It was just
Well, because Unknown was in Tekken Tag 1 originally.
yeah, but it specifically takes June's form. In
Yeah, I think
Tekken
that
Tag
was
2.
in 2, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, compelling storylines in fighting games. It's not even a Capcom title.
I know. I was going to say,
Well,
so much Capcom talk from this Bandai Namco published game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just saying that Tekken has a little bit more of
You're
a established.
you're roboting out every couple words. Yeah. So again, we apologize. Samurai has some really shitty internet. He was trying to get his studio up and running, but just wasn't able to get it done before the recording. So we do apologize. We're working on it. He's coming in every now and then, but
just don't talk for too long, Samurai. Then you'll be good.
Yeah, just
either
that or turn off all the porn on your PC.
No. Get out. No.
Can you even do that? Is that possible?
I mean, if you ask Haseo, no, but
that was a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's a different. That's
booting
a whole
onto
different
Haseyo's computer.
So. So we'll have to share that story sometime. Preferably when he's here. But
speaking about really weird stuff, everyone was simping over Lady D in Resident Evil 8.
Oh yeah, that is very true. Dami Mommy, I believe, is what she's collectively known by.
And now you're going to be able to play as her in the new update.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
In the Mercenaries mode.
And the internet rejoiced.
What's this shooter game? Like versus shooter game coming out? What, RE Universe?
Oh, the Reverse? Yeah, that
Reverse?
was packaged. Yeah, Reverse was packaged with 8, just like whatever bullshit was with. Was it 2 or 3? One of them, I forget. But yeah, no, it was packaged with 8, and it wasn't doing that good as far as I've seen. It's like a 4v1, like where someone plays like a mastermind.
Oh, okay.
And then the other 4 are like survivors, like trying to get through like it's like think like Saw but with Resident Evil.
It's weird because on Steam it says coming soon.
Or maybe it was just the beta that was packaged with 8. I know it was packaged together. I forget. Or you got access to it with 8. I forget how it played out.
The hell if I know. I've never played a Resident Evil game all the way through. I've watched several playthroughs, but I never actually played one.
Yeah, the Resident Evil games are good, but they've been trying to really like shoehorn this multiplayer bullshit, and a lot of people aren't liking it because I mean that's not what base RE is even about.
No, but it is interesting too because we've talked about this. I know in a couple of the podcasts, like Boulder Puncher. Hulk refers to Chris as that
as Rock Puncher. Yeah,
Rock Puncher because. Chris like literally punches a boulder in RE5, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so they went like super actiony, and then all of a sudden with like 7, they went back to their roots.
Yes.
Where it's like this kind of like survival horror with Ethan. And God, if Ethan has a theme, it's unfortunately losing fingers.
I know, right?
The dude just can't catch a break with his hand.
But he repairs it though too, which is like cool but creepy.
Yeah. Well, then of course it's all explained in Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, I haven't. I need to play 8.
Oh, you've never played?
No.
Okay, so we won't go into too many spoilers then, because I've seen like I've seen like 5 playthroughs of it, but it is explained like how he can do that in 8.
Oh, okay.
So,
I just figured video game bullshit.
Yeah, I mean that's another part too. I mean for sure. But
I mean, have you seen Far Cry?
I mean, I've seen some. I haven't played a lot, honestly.
Just the healing animations and that.
I think that's kind of like RE7, like sort of like you pour the potion on your hands or the herbs.
Yeah, yeah. So in RE7, he like dabs like his wounds with the antiseptic, which actually makes like way more sense than just like
I'm gonna smoke this herb.
yeah, smoking herbs to heal. I mean, some people would probably disagree with that statement, but you know,
we're not those people. Sorry.
But yeah, so in RE7 and even RE8, like it definitely goes back more to kind of the survival horror vibes. You know, again, no spoilers for 8 for Shoshima's sake, even though it's already been out for I don't know how long, and he's just really far behind.
About a year, yeah.
But they basically have like, you know, all these creatures. They've got like werewolves and, you know, vampires. Of course, Lady D, who is like a 8 foot tall, like or 9 feet tall.
I think 9.
Yeah, she's
8. Taller than Master Chief in the armor, homie.
Yeah, and anyway, there's all sorts of like supernatural themes in there, and of course tied in with bioweapons because that's what all Resident Evil is ultimately related to. But
you think they named her Lady D on purpose?
Probably. I mean, knowing Capcom, yeah.
I feel like someone was like, let's call her Lady D.
Yeah, Lady D, let me put it this way, because I can't pronounce her full name and I'm not even going to try.
I think it's just...
Dominiscu or something like that?
Maybe there's S. I thought it was just Domisu, but I'm probably...
Yeah, maybe it's Domisu. Like I said, I'm not even going to try because I know I'm not going to get it.
But you did try.
Shut up! I'm going to edit that out. No, but... like, literally, the main reason why I know so much about it is because in, like, every corner of the internet I saw after RE8 came out and, like, in the months after, it was some combination of Dami Mommy and Step On Me Mommy everywhere. Because quite literally, at, like, 9 feet tall, she can.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she awakened the feral part of the internet, which is not necessarily something I recommend, but somehow Capcom managed to walk a pretty fine line with it.
Big old vampire lady.
Yeah,
everybody all worked up.
The most interesting thing is she featured very heavily in the initial
all the trailers.
Teaser and trailers. Her role is significantly less than that would imply.
I figured that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, they did a really good job of like not giving away too much
of the whole game.
So, you know, that's a praise for Capcom, but
speaking of RE8, I just feel like that third person update, like, I don't know why, it makes me feel like I should play the game more. Like, just being able to be in third person instead of first person.
Yeah, I mean, some people prefer it. You know, for me, I think that part of what makes RE7 and RE8 so good is the first person perspective. I know that not a lot of like traditional RE fans are not necessarily a fan of that, which is probably why they added the third person in. But for me, it's like a big part of like Ethan Winters and his character, or rather lack thereof, as some would say, is that he's supposed to kind of be like a Link or another blank slate where the player can feel. And
yeah,
I know that not everybody appreciates that, but like it's a strategy and it's not one that's for everybody. Like Sean Bullen in particular hates that. Like he thinks it's super lazy, and you know, like it's a big part of the reason why he ragged on Breath of the Wild so long before he ended up playing it and actually found some appreciation in it.
Before he actually played it.
Well, but I should say before Tuba made him play it. Because Tuba basically like single-handedly funded that stream.
It sounds like Tuba.
9'6".
9'6". There we go.
She's a big lady.
Yeah, she's very, very tall, and
you can crush me any day.
There we go.
Pretty much.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, well.
Was it Demetriuscu?
Something like that, yeah.
Demetriuscu? I don't know.
Once he said it, I'm like, wait, there is a C in that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading it and going, I'm never going to be able to pronounce this. Like, I don't care how many times someone tells me.
I think that's why they're just like, it's Lady D.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yes.
Well, everyone on the internet was going to shorthand it anyway. Capcom's just smart enough to roll with it.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, RE8, I think, and RE7 were both, in my opinion, pretty good games, you know, from what I've seen. I don't know how they fare among RE fans, but for me, like, I think it kind of continues their success they had with, like, the RE2 remake. Which
RE7 did come out before, too, but yeah.
But it all kind of falls in that same...
Yeah, RE7, I feel, brought it back to form.
Yeah.
Before 2 came out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then yeah, with 2 coming out and just kind of proving what a remake should be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why in Game Attack's now Hang Time's ranking list, RE2 is considered to be ranked number one.
Oh, was it number
Yeah,
one?
it's number one. It's the greatest game of all time according to the Hang Time community. But yeah, I mean, it's really like, in my opinion, the standard for what a remake should be. Like,
Yeah, that I like what they did with 7 remake too, Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, me too. Like we've had some conversations about that. That's of course Square Enix. We'll talk more about that, I think, in another pod.
Yeah.
But,
Just as far as remakes are concerned.
yeah.
Waiting for Code Veronica.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Is like they announced.
Yeah, we
I think
touched on that
was,
last week, I think.
Yeah, I think it was RE4 is getting a remake now,
Yes.
and everyone's kind of like, why?
Yeah, did you not see RE4 is in development?
No.
Yeah, they're skipping over Veronica, and everyone is like literally like, why? Because RE4, like, even though it's when did RE4 come out? Like 2003.
Don't give me dates.
Well,
I know
that-
it came out after.
And it's all
Yeah.
then it's already had a remake.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. It's like it came out like early on. I think it was on the GameCube originally.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
actually a GameCube exclusive.
Yeah, and so then they remade it. I think a couple years later. Like, and it wasn't really a remake; it was more of a port. But still, like,
Yeah, so they never fully remade it, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, but they up-resed it and released it on PC and everything.
yeah,
Oh, they've sold it on everything they can.
yeah,
It's like their Skyrim.
Like
Yeah.
twice over too.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
no arguments there.
but yeah. So RE4 though, like, still holds up pretty well,
Mhm.
and like, so the fan base is like, you know what game doesn't hold up but deserves a lot of love, and that's remake.
The remake?
Or Veronica, rather.
Code
Code
Veronica,
Veronica.
yes.
And then, sorry, I was also thinking of RE0.
Oh,
RE0 definitely, like, seriously needs a whole remake. If that game is not even remotely playable anymore, it's really bad.
well, I know they did
Nothing-
release it again with Resident Evil remake on the PS4 and stuff.
Yeah,
Say, I thought they did really remake Zero.
they did. Maybe they did. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan, but like, I remember watching. I think it was Ray Narvaez Jr. play RE0, like the original one
On GameCube.
on GameCube.
Okay.
It does not. It does not hold up. It
Yeah,
is-
no, they've ported
It's
it over
really bad.
to like the PS4 and stuff.
Yeah.
It was part of a combo pack with the original remake for 1.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's why I never knew about it. So there you go. But yeah, Veronica is kind of the game that like fans were hoping for a remake for, and then we got RE4 instead, and everyone's kind of like, okay,
Why?
yeah, it's like, why RE4 still holds up pretty well.
I mean, Code Veronica is just its whole history has just been like fucked over, honestly.
Yeah, well, you know, that's
Because it originally was in development as our Resident Evil 3,
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Because of what
the
the deal
contract.
with Sony.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a contract with Sony, and all the number titles had to be on a Sony title. So they're like, "We'll be making this other spin-off game, so
we'll just make that 3.
yeah, Nemesis. You're now 3 Nemesis.
Yeah.
Seems legit."
So, have you played the 3 remake, by the way?
No, I need to do that too. I'm so behind.
Samurai, how about you? Have you played it?
I got around to it, and I'm looking at my titles right now, and I've got like 1 through 7.
Got it.
Yeah, I actually haven't bought 3 yet because I wanted to get through 2 first. I played 2, but I never beat it yet.
Mhm.
And then I never did that, so I was like, well, why buy 3?
So,
I played the demo.
we'll have to revisit this another time. But the point I want to make before we go off into another tangent on Capcom RE games is, I've heard 3 was really disappointing, especially after 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard specifically that pretty much every scene involving Nemesis is a cutscene,
Mm-hmm.
which takes away a lot of the drama from the original RE3, where like Nemesis was this unstoppable monster you couldn't kill and you just had to run away from.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if that's actually true or not. I can't personally testify to that, but that is the general feedback I have read about it, is why the RE3 remake was not as well received as RE2 remake.
Well, that and apparently they skipped a lot of content.
That too.
They give you the rocket launcher.
Yeah, well, apparently in RE2 was made in-house, but RE3 was made by an outside studio.
That explains a lot.
I think it's M3. I think is the name of the studio.
And Capcom's like, well, we're never working with them again.
No, they work with them a lot, if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
I was kidding.
Oh, okay.
I was kidding
My
because
bad.
of the, they literally like we just got done talking about how RE2 remake was like the pinnacle of what a remake should be, and then they
Yeah.
released this RE3 bullshit.
I know it was still like the same engine and everything, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's unfortunately what happens when you trust another developer with your baby. Sometimes they make changes to it.
Yeah, just like Diamond and Pearl.
Oh God. So I can't testify to that because I enjoyed Brilliant Diamond. But
I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just compared to all the other ones, it's just so weird.
fair.
How they decided to not advance. I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. So kind of keeping on track here, we've talked a lot about Resident Evil. We've talked about Street Fighter. So I guess the other major franchises, at least that I can think of, that we've kind of touched on but haven't really gone into detail on, would be Monster Hunter
Mm-hmm.
and
Monster Hunter.
and Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm.
So and are there any more that I'm forgetting?
Any big ones like right now? I mean,
Yeah.
they did pump out that Ghost and Goblins game. It actually uses the RE engine. I don't know if you guys seen that at all.
I haven't seen anything about it. This is news to me.
Yeah, they made a new Ghost and Goblins Resurrection.
Wait, isn't Ghosts and Goblins like the game that was like considered notoriously difficult back in the day?
Oh, like super
Yes.
hard.
Yeah.
And the new one, they actually give you like an easy mode if you're a stupid baby, which I had to go down in difficulty because that game's hard.
Yeah. Because it was basically what like Dark Souls was before Dark Souls.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did hear about the remake, but I've like legitimately never heard anything about it other than there's now like a remake or a sequel of it.
It was just a new
Yeah.
Ghost and Goblins, but it was only like $20, so it's like I shot him $20 and I played it some.
I mean, to be fair, if it was $60, you would still probably buy it.
I mean, so they also have another game that, if you were waiting for Monster Hunter for a while,
Uh-huh.
it was Dragon's Dogma, and didn't number 2 just get announced?
Yes.
It did, but they announced it at the same time as like another big game.
The Final Fantasy VII
yeah,
25th anniversary conference.
that's what it was. Yeah, they went up against Final Fantasy.
Like they both started at the
25.
exact same time. I'm like, you fucked up, Capcom.
Yeah, and so I will say that out of all the titles we've talked about, Dragon's Dogma is the one I have played, and I have played religiously. I think I have like 200 hours in that game in total, like across like 3 different systems, because I bought it 3 times.
Yeah, I haven't played it too much. I know I have the Steam version, so I'm waiting for that mythical Steam Deck, and I can horribly play that shit.
Yeah, I actually was the one who gave that to you, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, I bought that for you, and you have not touched it, and I'm kind of offended.
You know.
Not really, but yeah. So Dragon's Dogma is one of those games that like fans of the series have literally been clamoring for a franchise for a sequel to that franchise forever.
I know. It's only been literally 10 years.
Yeah, and they finally announced it, but they did it at the same time, like literally the same time
Oh, yeah.
as they were doing the Final Fantasy 25th anniversary special.
It was Final Fantasy VII specifically.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and just like Capcom, I know that there's like this super like underground like following for Dragon's Dogma, but like just reschedule to the next day. Like don't. What were you doing? So yeah, unfortunately, Dragon's Dogma 2 I think really fell under the radar for a lot of people because everyone was just like, oh, Crisis Core remake, Part 2, teaser.
Mhm. Ever Crisis still looks good.
Yeah, Ever Crisis. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't actually seen much. Did they show much trailers for Dragon's Dogma 2?
Not really. I think it was just the primary announcement that it was in development.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I honestly didn't really go back and look at it because I was busy checking out Final Fantasy's 25th anniversary, like most of the internet, and then I forgot about it. Because, yeah.
I don't know. I have a thing against Square Enix right now.
Oh, what's that?
Huh? Just there's a lot of games that they have access to that they've only recently started paying attention to. Like they bought Eidos.
Oh, yeah.
They bought Eidos Entertainment, and so they started working on Tomb Raider series. Which is
Yeah.
cool. Fucking love Tomb Raider. Actually did amazing with it. But it took them so long to get to it. So fucking long. And then not only that, but I'm still kind of on the fence of like their artwork with how they treat their new Final Fantasies.
Fair. What's your 2 cents on, real quick, just since we're on this topic? What's your 2 cents on RE7 or not RE7, Final Fantasy 7 remake?
I mean, I would play it just to get a more better memory of what the story was. I played the original and I forgot all about it. There have been other games that I've just thought were better.
Fair enough. Yeah, 7 is one of those games, like, for me, it's my favorite Final Fantasy. I'm not, they really started losing me with, like, the bullshit they pulled with 10.
Yeah.
And then 10 too.
I never got too into any of the Final Fantasies, but I've always liked just, I don't know, Seven's world and lore.
Yeah. For me, I think 7 has one of the better supporting casts as well.
I think I blame Crisis Core. They have a really good name for the main characters.
That name sucks. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, like 7, I don't know, like 7, they just hit something right with it for me. And you know, that's not a knock on like other Final Fantasy games, but just I don't know. For me, like I kind of started getting lost, and you know, Hiseo's a big Final Fantasy X fan. He'll defend it to the death. But for me, like I don't know, just I feel like a lot of Nomura's like, oh, we're just gonna go off and come out with like the craziest story we can possibly come up with, originated in Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. Although I've been seeing some stuff for 16. I don't know if you've been keeping up or not.
Not really, because 16 is one of those things where I lost interest in the Final Fantasy series when they went with 14. 14 was like the last one I was like, okay, I just don't care anymore.
Well, 14 was the MMO.
Yeah, that's why I don't care anymore.
Okay. Well, yeah, because this one is actually more action-based. They have one of the directors from, like, one of the Devil May Cry's and Door Dragon's.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's more action-based, so I'm like, you have my attention.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, you now have my attention because, like, yeah, it just, you know, it's not a knock on, you know, fans of the Final Fantasy series, but for me, like, I'm a story-driven, you know, player. I like story.
Yeah, this one apparently they've announced or like had interviews where you play through like as Clive is the main character of this game, but you play through like his teens, his 20s, and like his 30s.
Oh, so that they actually will hopefully make you care about his character.
Exactly.
Okay, because that's like kind of the biggest issue I've always run into with Final Fantasy, especially like I think in 10 onward, and you know, again, Final Fantasy fans, if you enjoy 10 and 11, 12, 13, and 14, 15, like, hey, cool. I'm not here to rag on you, but just for me personally, none of the characters were that interesting, and I really feel that, like, what we now know is, like, kind of the Kingdom Hearts problem, where it's like, oh, you have all these, like, convoluted storylines that don't necessarily make a lot of sense, and you have to reach to kind of make the conclusions. Like, and I really feel 10 was the start of that in Final Fantasy. I think 13 did a little bit better job with Lightning.
Yeah, but 13 was just a weird game too.
Yeah. So, and then of course 14 was an MMO, and I'm like, I'm not paying, you know, a monthly thing for a franchise I barely care about anymore.
Yeah.
15 came out, and I heard that it was good.
So I have a personal grudge against Final Fantasy 15 because it was one of the biggest reasons why Kingdom Hearts 3 took so freaking long. And also why I think Kingdom Hearts, there were parts of Kingdom Hearts that were so half-assed. So I have a big grudge against Final Fantasy 15 because of that. But that's a whole nother thing. And, you know, I understand that is petty. I get it. Final Fantasy 15 fans, I'm sorry. That's just my 2 cents. It's not the end-all be-all. I'm just some random dude on the internet. You know, don't
listen. You wanted Kingdom Hearts to come out faster, and I wanted a better fear effect.
Yeah.
We all can't get what we want.
Well, so the thing was with Kingdom Hearts was it was more just like, and we'll do like a Kingdom Hearts pod at some point, I'm sure. But for me, the biggest thing is that there were so many like worlds and areas that just they either felt like they were rushed or unfinished, and it's hard to tell how much of that was Disney meddling and how much of that was Square Enix literally rushing through to finish it. But I do know that the development of Kingdom Hearts 3 took so long because they were working, the same team was working on Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy 15's development had a lot of ups and downs in it, to put it lightly. So a lot of the stuff that,
Yeah. My understanding is because the fans rioted, pretty much. They're like, no, just kidding, we didn't cancel the project.
Yeah. Again, I don't know too much about it, but...
Yeah, because originally it was coming out as Versus 13. It was supposed to be in the same universe as Final Fantasy 13. And then, like, 5 years later, I forget the actual timeline.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, so yeah, we're not going to do this game anymore. It's, like, been a pain in the butt. They're like, and then everyone, like, freaked out. And they're like, just kidding, we're still doing the game, but now it's Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Because it's taking us so goddamn long, we want to actually make it a numbered title.
Yeah, and that long-ass development between Final Fantasy Versus 13 and 15 delayed Kingdom Hearts by so long.
Yeah, because I think it was, 13 years that game was in development?
Yeah, it was I think 12 and a half years between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, no, I'm saying for the actual development of Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah, something like that. It was ridiculous, and I mean it's a good thing they released an MMO prior to that because they can just keep supporting that. But and MMO fans are a different breed than a lot of other fans, and that's why like I've talked about like the two games that I have the biggest issue with, like period, is World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 15. They're probably the only two games where I actually have a legitimate grudge against both of those games, and I will probably never play them in good faith ever.
Speaking of people not wanting to play a game in good faith, DMC Devil May Cry.
Oh, there you go. Nice
segue.
Yeah, nice segue.
Professional podcaster.
Yeah, good job.
But yeah, there was a game Capcom decided to hand off because they're like, yeah, we need to make game for the Western audience.
Oh gosh.
And then they gave it to the people at Ninja Theory, which honestly I liked the game looking back at it and seeing like the PR that Ninja Theory had. Yeah, that lead director was a douche.
I'll tell you, marketing can be a big part of it.
Yeah, I don't know how familiar you guys are, but I put a lot of hours into that game.
Yeah, I know pretty much everything I know about that game is because of you. So
maybe
that should tell you everything you need to know about my perspective.
But yeah, they decided to reboot the Devil May Cry franchise because, I don't know. I guess 4 didn't do that good financially. Like, I think it did okay, but it didn't do, like, amazing.
Yeah. So it disappointed, I think, is a fair assessment.
So they wanted to shake it up and bring it to the Western audience. So they have, I think they're based in the UK, Ninja Theory. They made it, and it plays similar to Heavenly Sword, I've been told. I've never played Heavenly Sword.
No, neither have I. How about you, Samurai?
So years ago and just barely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a release title for PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because DMC Devil May Cry was like later in the PS3 lifespan.
It was basically a female God of War.
Yeah. But I just really liked, the combat. A lot of people complain they made it, like easier. But I feel like it was like, easy to start, but still hard to master. And yeah, I still like some of the I don't know if dialogue or this, because the storytelling's still not that good. I'm not even going to try to say it has good storytelling.
Yeah.
But just, there's some moments in the game, I was still, just out of high school, living in an apartment on my own with my girlfriend at the time.
Holy shit, I just realized I own that game.
Well, you should go try it. I very much enjoy it. Do you have it on Steam or what?
On Steam.
Okay.
I think I also have it on Steam now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, because I know they came out with, the Definitive Edition on consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of the Definitive Edition was stuff that was already inherently on Steam. But yeah, I really liked what they did. with the game. It was they totally changed like the voice actors for everything. I do love the scene Dante like donning the white wig on accident, like looking at himself in the mirror and says like no, never. Throws the wig off. I'm like, all right, like they have a statement. They're like, fuck you guys, like try our game.
Yeah, pretty much.
And because that's in like the first level of the game.
Yeah, there you go. So,
But,
so I now have a question,
Mhm.
and this can span across any company, any game. But I'm just going through Capcom's library.
Mhm.
What's a game series that you think would be fine to like bring back nowadays?
like,
oh god, like an older
like
one.
a remake or
Like-
just a port
like-
or like what you?
Like just a straight up reboot, like bring it back into the consciousness of its players.
So mine would be Mother/Earthbound. There's no question. That's a game that like fans in the West have wanted for so long. The closest thing we've really gotten is Super Smash Brothers has
Mhm.
brought back a lot of characters from Earthbound.
Well, now with the whole Nintendo Online, they've at least brought the older games back.
Yeah, and then of course they finally brought it back, and there was, for those that don't know, Earthbound is known as Mother in Japan, and there was Mother 3, and Earthbound did surprisingly well in the West, which is pretty shocking when you think about it. But they ended up, like canceling Mother 3, I guess, due to like low sales in Japan or something. I don't know what the detail was, but it's one of those games where like I've played it and it's solid, for the era it was made in. But it still has like that diehard fan base. But again, like we've talked about a couple times here, for whatever reason, Nintendo just they seem really hesitant to pull the trigger on a lot of stuff, and I don't know why. I'm not an expert on Japanese like business, or I don't have an insight on Nintendo, but there's a lot of things that just feel like this would be easy money, and they just don't do it.
No, I know between that and F-Zero.
Yeah. Well, F-Zero, I understand why they won't bring back, and it's because they already have a highly successful racing franchise in Mario Kart.
Yeah,
And everything they do, it's always going to get compared to,
But
to
even-
Mario Kart.
I was actually listening to another podcast and they were saying how Nintendo doesn't like money because we still have Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
Like if they really cared, they would be pumping out like a new Mario Kart and
Well-
making you pay $60 for it.
Yeah, well, like I said, Nintendo is their business practices are super weird, and we will do a Nintendo podcast at some point.
No, that's and just
But-
attributes to.
To go back to Samurai's question,
Yeah.
no, I would say that the immediate franchise that I feel has been out of the public mind for a long time,
Mhm.
that would still have a place today, would be Earthbound/Mother. That would be my pick. What about you?
Honestly, it's just hard because most of the Capcom games they've already rebooted or brought back.
Mhm.
I mean, we got Mega Man 11. It's been 4 years already though.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I would say maybe the X series because technically that hasn't been continued.
Mm.
I mean, I feel it's cheating because it's still Mega Man, but
I mean, it is. I think at this point, Mega Man X is different enough that, like, yeah,
Mhm.
it is Mega Man, but it's not Mega Man. It's its own series. It's it's a spin-off. So I think that's fair.
yeah, because I kind of like the X series a little bit more. I mean, Zero is just a total badass.
Yeah, Zero is pretty cool. X himself is also like
X
I think
is-
has a much better character definition than Mega Man ever did.
Yes, no, I feel the character of X like he has a lot more character and character development like throughout his series of games
Yeah,
than Mega Man just being Mega Man, I guess.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
I'm a robot of Dr. Light. Let me go kill all Wily's robots and then beat Wily again. Like that's cool, but like as far as character development, it's pretty basic.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess I'd have to pick that if anything, because either that or I know I never actually played Lost Planet 2. I heard the multiplayer was super dope in that.
Hmm.
Like a Monster Hunter-esque, but with like shooters, like with guns would be dope.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I thought Evolve was gonna be that. It wasn't.
Oh god, I forgot all about Evolve. Holy fuck.
Well, what? Yeah, I thought for a minute you were going to talk about Dino Crisis.
You mean not Dino Crisis coming out?
Yeah, the not Dino Crisis.
Yeah, that's not out yet, but I hope that's good because honestly, it looks interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, how about you, Samurai? If there's one franchise that you want to bring back into the public eye, what one would you pick?
Ah, damn, that's hard to choose between all the ones that I'm like, it'd be time for that one. I mean, dude, he's already said one, like Lost Planet.
Lost
would
Planet.
be cool.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a good one.
If we're sticking with the Capcom in general,
Well, I didn't go Capcom, so.
well, no, I'm just saying, like from Capcom, Onimusha.
Oh, that's a title I haven't heard in a long time.
I know because they did the Onimusha 1 like port, but then they just haven't done anything since.
Yeah.
I forgot how much like Resident Evil-esque Onimusha 1 is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I mean from Konami, Silent Hill.
Yeah, there you
go. Like they tried and then they were like, nope.
Speaking of Konami, did you see the Cowabunga collection?
I did.
Yeah,
that looks pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. It's like pretty much literally every like old turtle game that Konami ever made,
which is a lot of them.
Yeah, it's even the Game Boy games.
Yeah, which is pretty cool that they have the licensing and were able to do that.
Yeah, in a single collection.
Yeah,
so.
that's gonna be pretty cool.
There's one more that I wanna bust out, and I know Steve knows the name, even though he hasn't tried the main title in the series. I know he has one of them.
Yeah.
Suikoden.
Yep, I have a Suikoden Tactics.
Yeah.
I still have my copy. Yeah.
Yeah, the Suikoden is a great series that I would love to see brought back now.
Hey Samurai, you're cutting out right now.
How about now?
You're good now. Continue.
When I was a kid, Suikoden is the title that took away best RPG from Final Fantasy VII for me.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's Suikoden's really good. If you have not ever played a Suikoden game, I highly recommend checking it out through purely legal means, of course.
Obviously, my only like actual interaction with Suikoden is I think my mom rented it for me because I didn't go to the Hollywood Video. I know that makes me really old.
No, you didn't say Blockbuster. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Game Crazy. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, Game Crazy. What's there's one other one too. This is gonna kill me.
Yeah, you tell me because I know Grand Crazy was part of Hollywood Video.
Yeah,
but EB Games.
EB Games. There we go. Yeah, EB Games. That's what I was thinking of.
That's still a thing in Canada, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just GameStop.
Yeah,
but yeah,
they didn't change it. But yeah, she got. I think it was Suikoden 4 on the PS2.
Oh.
If I remember correctly, I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but like. When you only have it like rented for 5 days, you're not sinking your teeth in this JRPG.
That is very true. Yeah, JRPGs, as the Hangtime crew found out with Persona, are a investment.
Yeah,
they are absolutely a time sink, and that's a whole different genre we'll have to tackle at some point. I myself have only played like 2 JRPGs, and I don't think I finished either one.
Is Pokemon a JRPG?
Let's. I think at that point we should probably wrap up the podcast before we get like we've already pissed off Devil May Cry fans. We've already pissed off fighting game fans. I don't know what Samurai's pissed off, but he's probably pissed off somebody, probably about his audio quality.
Probably JRPG fans.
Yeah.
Said, fuck Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, probably.
Not saying that out loud.
Yeah, but yeah. So
Square Enix.
We'll kind of sign off here. We'll kind of wrap up. So I know we talked mostly Capcom. I think we achieved our goal.
Yeah,
as
like a good like 55 to 60%.
Yeah, we're majority Capcom, but I think let's wrap up with let's talk about what everybody's favorite title is for Capcom. I think that'll be a good way to kind of wrap it up. So I'm gonna put Samurai on the spot. Samurai, what's your favorite Capcom title?
Too easy. Monster Hunter.
There you go.
So wait,
which one?
Yeah, because you said title.
Yeah, I did say title, not franchise.
You have a favorite title?
Yeah, not so easy to pick one now, is it?
Well, because Unite is where everything really picked up.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah,
I
but
got all you guys, like everyone, to really start playing.
Yeah.
But
Hang on, Samurai. You're cutting out again. Yeah. Let's give your internet a second to recover.
but yeah, Samurai basically introduced all of us to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite.
I think the only one who didn't was Haseo. I think Haseo had already played Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it might have been from Meep, but either
Yeah.
way, like that's Freedom Unite is where we all connected.
Yep.
And put way too many hours into a video game.
I know I've told the story before, but I had Freedom Unite before I even owned a PSP.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember that.
yeah, I actually still have my copy of Freedom Unite. I know exactly where it is, so I still have it.
I can't say that. I have Freedom Unite on my iPad.
There you
Does
go.
that count?
Yeah, fine, sure.
Because you can actually play that online, by the way.
Yeah. So Samurai, your sound's back before we lose you again. What's your favorite Monster Hunter title?
I'm gonna put Unite overall due to all the memories that I had with it.
Yeah, plus we put what 500 to 1,000 hours on that at least.
So much. Yeah.
That's a good choice. How about you, Shoshima? What's your favorite?
To pick one?
Yeah, to pick one.
This is bullshit.
Hey, I gave you time. I went with Samurai first. You better have an answer. Come on.
I mean, as far as other than Monster Hunter, because I do love Monster Hunter, but each new one I like more.
That's fair. Like, if you want to pick a Monster Hunter, that's cool too.
Yeah, no, I know.
I already know my choice.
Like, I haven't went back and played it, but I do really like DMC Devil May Cry.
There you go.
So I'd say either between that or I really like Rise's. I mean, Rise is like Devil May Cry like action, but in a Monster Hunter setting.
It really is. It's really good.
So yeah, I'd have to say DMC if not Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Rise.
Mine's Dragon's Dogma, hands down. Like it's not even close. I don't get me wrong. I love Monster Hunter, but like the Monster Hunter franchise has kind of fallen out of favor for me just because I just don't have the time required. And even the quote unquote faster hunt times in Rise, I just don't have the time for. It's a big time sink. It's a big investment. Dragon's Dogma is one of those games where like I will still go back and play it every now and then. And every time I play it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this game.
Yeah, I've heard Dragon's Dogma. You can start a new playthrough and it can be totally different.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like there's different play styles and there's character creation. It basically has like everything I love about a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, I don't have to like rely on anybody else. And that's like one of the big things is like with like Monster Hunter is if you want to do the guild quest, you need to have friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem there is that unless you're keeping pace, you're just going to get raced through and you're going to miss half the enjoyment of the game. That's the case with like a lot of games, which is I made that comment against MMOs earlier. That's my biggest issue with MMOs is it's like this is a game where like you kind of have to have people and friends to play with, and my schedule has just never really aligned with anybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree with you on the MMO thing, man.
yeah, so I and don't get me wrong, like I don't hate MMOs, like I don't hate World of Warcraft. I just have a grudge against it because Warcraft 3 was at one point my favorite video game of all time. And then they, instead of Warcraft 4, they went with World of Warcraft. And I didn't have enough money to be able to play. I didn't have enough money to spend $15 a month to play the game. So I feel like I got robbed of my favorite franchise by WoW.
I don't hate MMOs. I just hate my friends.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why you're doing this podcast with us. It's out of pure spite and nothing else. That's why his audio issues are so bad and he hasn't fixed them. It's not that he doesn't want to set up the studio. It's he's trying to sabotage the podcast.
Clearly.
Obviously.
I mean, shut up.
But no, honestly though, Dragon's Dogma, hands down, it's in my opinion one of like the best games Capcom has ever released. I know I really downplayed Dragon's Dogma 2, but that's more of a Capcom decision to air it at the same time as Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary.
Yeah, I mean they probably didn't know when they announced it.
Probably not, but like they should have rescheduled because Square Enix did announce it.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
But regardless, I really hope Dragon's Dogma 2 is really good. I'm really hoping that it can live up to the hype, which is something I'm worried about whenever you have a game that lives like that lingers that long in development or waiting for development. You have really high expectations because people start to romanticize the game. And I look at, we talked about this before, but like Kingdom Hearts 3. I know I personally tried not to go in with super high expectations. I was still disappointed. So I know a lot of like hardcore Kingdom Hearts fans. I think out of most of the Kingdom Hearts games, they would probably rank Kingdom Hearts 3 not at the bottom because there's worse games, but It's not near the top either, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was hard to get hyped for 3 for me because it looked like a PS2, like maybe a PS3 game. Like, honestly,
that was because again, it took so long to be in development.
Like, not trying to shit on it, but
yeah, no, but
let's do that.
Oh God, well we will. That's actually a great podcast idea. We should talk about like franchises, development hell, and like franchises that should have stayed dead. Maybe we can do that like in a couple weeks after we talk Thor.
Yeah, but I think I'm excited for Capcom just because like with Dragon's Dogma, I feel like with they took the time with RE2 remake because they knew it was gonna be a big deal. They've been doing good with Monster Hunter lately.
Yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise are 2 really, really amazing entries into the franchise.
Rise already sold 2 million units in the first weekend.
Yeah. So
that's good.
Sunbreak?
Yes, I'm sorry, the Sunbreak DLC.
The DLC, yeah. So for those that know, again, just to kind of time when we're recording this is our first July recording. So we're recording just after the 4th of July, and Sunbreak came out, I think, last week?
30th, yes.
Yeah, so it came out last week. But yeah, Sunbreak is doing really well on sales. And like, honestly, if a developer deserves the benefit of the doubt, I do feel it is Capcom.
Yeah.
Because they have more hits than they do misses.
Yeah,
honestly.
And then I know Devil May Cry 5 like went back to form.
Yeah.
But they did a really good job, and I feel most of fans were happy about that.
Yeah.
So I feel if anyone's gonna like make sure the fans aren't all pissed off about it, like
it's
Capcom has learned their lesson.
I think so. I hope so. Anyway, we can hope, right? But we'll see when it comes out. So as always, Samurai, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and on Twitch at SamuraiNoodlez. That's noodles with a Z, no spaces.
Yep. And Shoshima?
Zachary1016 on Twitter, ZACKERY 1016. Yeah.
Yep. And you can find me pretty much everywhere except Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Please follow my Twitch if you're not already. At Shenzo the Lost. And this has been another episode of the Lost One podcast. Thank you all very much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us that 5-star rating. And I hope you have enjoyed it, because we will see you next week, where we will most likely, probably, almost certainly be talking Thor and diving back into the MCU. So,
hey, my first entry, we actually paid attention.
Yeah, there we go. So Samurai might actually have something more than a mostly garbled comment to enter at that point, too.
Hopefully.
We'll find out. But anyway, we will see you guys. That's going to do it for us today. We will see you guys next week here on the Lost One podcast.
Okay, bye.